Well, hello there. It's mid-January and it's a lovely day, and I'm going to look at some of the old trees in Queen Bower Woods. I've just crossed the Lymington River at Boulder Ford. Well, this is a lovely piece of ancient pasture woodland, and you've got a river running through it. It's not far from where the Ober Water joins with the Lymington River. Now, with the low winter light, these woods really do look absolutely beautiful. The long shadows and the mosses on the trunks of the trees, and the randomness of it. It's not managed by man in any way at all, really. It's, in fact, the management plan is minimal interference. Now, there's something interesting to see in these woods all the time. The multiple shapes and the way that the trees grow when they're just, the only management they would have is the grazing of the forest ponies and cattle. Now, there are a lot of very fine oaks in this wood, but the one I'm looking for is the known as the Queen Bower oak, and it's a maiden. It's not a pollard. It hasn't had its limbs cut off hundreds of years ago, so it's a very big tall tree, but it's a tree that you would easily walk past. You can see the size of it with me standing alongside it, and it is a tree of 6.5 meters in girth, but you would easily miss this tree. You could just walk past it because there are so many fine oaks in this wood. Now, this one has got a nice collection of ferns growing on it, which I always think is rather nice. It has lost a very big limb. You can see that's where it came off, and it's must weigh several tons, this piece of timber that's fallen off it, and it's very long. But that piece of timber on the ground where it should be will probably last for another couple of 100 years until it's rotted away into the forest. Now, the stream is a wild stream. This is just how a stream should be. Until fairly recently, these trees would have been pulled out of the stream and we would have tried to tidy it up, but it's not the right policy to do. It's part of the ecology, and it makes it a very natural riverine woodland. Now, the same can be said of the woodland. Until, again, within the last sort of 3 decades or so, timber was dragged out of these woods for firewood, and some of these woods are still suffering because of the lack of dead wood in them, and without the dead wood you will not get the regeneration, and that's the only way that these woods will regenerate, without the help of man. And we don't want to be planting. There's no need to plant in an ancient woodland. It will regenerate, but you have to leave it to nature. This oak's rather nice with this holly tree growing out of it. It looks quite well established. With all this old wood, there are so many places for wildlife to inhabit the cracks and the holes in these trees. Bats and birds can use them, and the biodiversity is quite amazing in these woods. Now, these ancient woodlands in the New Forest are very rare places indeed, and the New Forest is probably one of the best examples in the whole of Western Europe of these sort of woods. Anyway, as we cross the Boulder Ford Bridge again, I do note this very unnatural looking oak tree, which Forestry England probably have cut for safety reasons, but they didn't leave any of the dead wood, as really they ought to have done. But that's what happens occasionally. Anyway, we shouldn't grumble too much because there are plenty of wonderful trees in this wood that haven't been touched. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please click a like and maybe subscribe. Goodbye for now.